All right, let's have a conversation about Huda. I feel like now is the time for me. We didn't have any show yesterday. I feel like we can have a nice little conversation, a little FaceTime, you and me, about Miss Huda. Okay, so here's how I feel about Huda, okay? And I just want to preface that just because I have an explanation for Huda's behavior doesn't mean I like her behavior or endorse her behavior. I actually find her behavior to be very toxic, but I think there's a reason for the toxicity. So, again, not an excuse, just like an understanding. So, ladies, okay, and I'm sure there's men out there too that have felt this way and they thems, okay, but this is just for the girlies, the girly pops, okay. When you've been in toxic relationships over and over and over again, your behavior adapts to the toxic relationship, and therefore you almost become part of that toxicity as well. So I know for me in a past relationship, I was so used to toxicity. I was so used to confronting him in certain ways, going about our relationship in certain ways, because you have to adapt to the toxicity in order to like kind of like maneuver through it. So like little problems, little issues, always you like kind of turned the rock over and there was an even bigger issue underneath, and you kind of always were waiting for that to come. But then you start dating somebody that isn't like that, okay? That knows how to communicate, can emotionally regulate themselves, okay? And what ends up happening is you continue the toxic pattern because you're only used to toxic men. Now, this is rare, okay? But I have had multiple girlfriends in my life who have dated horrible, horrible men, and then they just are one of the lucky girls in the world that got to find a guy that's not a piece of shit, okay? And again, you kind of don't know how to be in a healthy relationship because you kind of never been in one. And what ends up happening, like I said, is kind of like you flow over the toxicity into the good person. And then the good person is like, why are you treating me like this? I don't treat you like that. Why are you screaming at me? Why are you yelling at me? Why are you nitpicking everything I do? Why are you saying everything I do isn't enough? When it is enough, and I am kind to you, I do take care of you, I do love you, like I don't understand. And it's like, oh, well, it's because I only know how to be in toxic relationships. I don't know how to be in healthy ones. So I have to find somebody, I guess, who's like patient enough to work through that with me. And I feel like that's like the vibe I'm getting from Huda and Jeremiah. Is it seems to me like Huda does not know how to be in a relationship where the other person is not yelling at her, screaming at her, manipulating her, gaslighting her, talking down to her, being disrespectful to her, not showing affection, not like she doesn't know how to be in a relationship with someone who's like not an evil person. So here she has Jeremiah, who, from what I could see, listen, I'm not saying there aren't red flags, there are red flags, but overall, there's not these massive red flags. It's just like he overall seems to be emotionally intelligent. I could be wrong, but overall, from what I could see from the show, okay, it's just a snippet, relax. He seems to be overall pretty emotionally intelligent. He doesn't really talk down to her. He doesn't snip at her. He lets her talk to the point where it's like, bro, say something. You don't deserve to be spoken to that way. Nobody does. But he lets her just ride out, act a little fool, scream at him, say some very, very off the cuff wackadoodle things, lets her rage, and doesn't really tell her to F off or get away from me or you suck or whatever. He doesn't seem to lie to her a lot. I don't think so. I haven't seen him lie to her. Like, again, there's so much that we don't see, which is why I think that they should have like a 24-hour feed like Big Brother has, but that's just me. Just so we can truly know we're not being manipulated by the audience. Like, the audience isn't being manipulated, okay? But it seems to me like Huda just kind of doesn't know how to talk to a man that isn't trying to manipulate her, isn't trying to gaslight her, and isn't trying to talk down and be nasty and honestly scream at her. She's not used to having a conversation with a man that doesn't involve, I'm going to assume, yelling, screaming, fighting, cursing, being mean to each other. She doesn't really know how to speak to a man that just doesn't want to have that kind of conversation. And so what ends up happening is you're all like, I just know from my own experience, your body craves that. It craves the frustration. It craves the anger. It's craving that energy. Your body doesn't really know if it's bad energy or good energy. It just knows that it's energy and it's not getting that energy and it doesn't understand why. And so it keeps craving it and craving it and craving it until you get what you want. And Huda's not getting the energy in return that her body probably wants. Like, I think she wants to have a full-on screaming match with Jeremiah, and Jeremiah's not is not doing that. So she doesn't know what the hell to do with herself. Do I think that there was a conversation somewhere, which again, I don't really understand how they could have this conversation without a microphone on, because the only time they're not mic'd is when they are sleeping. But even when they're sleeping, there are microphones in the bedpost, I'm pretty sure. Like, even in the bathroom and the shower, I think the only place that they aren't like full-blown mic'd up, or like their audio is like shut off, is I think when they go to the bathroom. But other than that, like even in the shower, there's microphones. So like, I'm not really understanding like why Love Island isn't showing that if they did have a conversation about staying together in order to win at the end. I'm not really sure why Love Island hasn't shown the footage of that, because they would have caught it. Even Huda brought it up at one point, and it's like, okay, well, where's the footage of that? And is the footage going to be shown at like movie night maybe? So like Love Island, if you have that footage, girl, like show it. Hello, I want to know that if the two of them are trying to manipulate us, because then that's not just her, that's not just him, it's both of them. And y'all can sit there and hate on Ace all you want, but Ace is like the only one that's like calling this bullshit out. Full frontal craziness, okay? Is straight up looking into the camera and is like, I think they're full of crap. They are full of crap. You can tell that they're full of crap. And the two of them, if they truly thought that they were going to make it to the end, then they shouldn't have been arguing and fighting. They should have been pretending that they're in love and love each other so damn much. Because what that tells me is you think the audience is stupid, and the audience is not stupid. Whether y'all want to believe it or not, the producers, showrunners, the cast, whatever, the audience is not stupid. We can tell if you don't actually fuck with each other. We can tell if you two don't actually want to be together or actually aren't good for each other. We can clock it, and we can clock it pretty damn fast. And I think that's exactly what we did. I think we clocked it very fast. When you two weren't even open to anybody else, even the process. You guys, you're on Love Island. Okay? You need to participate in the show. Personally, for me, I don't want to see Huda at Casa more. Not because I don't want her there for like entertainment value and shit like that. I don't want her at Casa more because she is not going to be able to date anybody anymore. Unless she goes up to Jeremiah and looks him in the eye and genuinely says, I am so sorry for my portion of our relationship, of my behavior, of the way that I treated you. I clearly was upset about bigger and more things that have nothing to do with you. And I'm so sorry for that. I hope you and Iris can find a way to connect with each other. And if it's not Iris, maybe it's somebody else. I don't know. But I'm so sorry. And I promise you that I will not interrupt your journey on the show anymore. And I hope that you're able to find your person. If she could have like a nice little arc like that, she can stay until Casa Amor. If she can't do that, if she's going to be an emotional vampire, then I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that because it's not fair to her. We can't just let this woman like be completely annihilated on the internet. At some point, we have to stop. At some point, the producers need to step in and go, okay, we know the internet's going to destroy her. We don't want them to destroy her to a level that's like, they can't come back from. Because Huda is the type of girl that is going to crash out on a level that is terrifying outside of this show. And I don't want that for her. I just don't think she's emotionally strong enough to handle the amount of hate that she's about to get. And that's not, whether you like her or not, I don't wish that on anybody. Or at least no women. I don't wish that on any women. Men, well, that's different. But for her, I just don't wish that upon her. And I am a little scared. So you guys tell me what you think of Huda. Tell me what you think about everything. Who do you want? Again, give me all the Love Island tea, gossip, everything in the comment section. I would really appreciate it. And join my Discord so you can talk 24/7 with me about it. Okay, love you. Bye.